Hello, I'm Garrett Speed, and this was my presentation at the Surf Research Day on the 30th of May 2024. This is in the Pecha Kucha format, and I'm covering the data recovery effort that I made with my coworker Maizem. We are both data stewards at the Faculty of Geosciences at Utrecht University. This is Dr. Martin Vossen. He is an environmental sciences researcher within the faculty. He's been at Utrecht University for the past 40 years. And he's been collecting data in Siberia, Poland, and the Netherlands. So he's been in all of these places. He has actually gone to places where they had to access it only by helicopter. And while he was out in these locations, he was collecting soil chemistry, water chemistry, species variation, just tons of data that could be helpful to be compared with things now. So this is a ton of very valuable information. He is since retired. This is him at his retirement farewell lecture. He is sticking around though. He has a couple more PhD students that need to finish up, and he is also going to help us document the data that we have recovered. So he came to us last year with this box full of floppy disks, zip disks, CDs, tape drives, a bunch of material that needs to be digitized. It's not onto a network data set now. And if you're thinking, oh, how do I have the expertise in this? Well, I've had about 35 years worth of experience. And this data is really important because, yeah, the cadastre has the topo tide res, but this is in situ data from these places where they were when he was there. This data can be compared with things now and things in the future or other records from the past. So this is stuff that we can't go back in time and get. In terms of the data that was there, there's floppy drives. They have varying levels of labels on them. Sometimes they have handwritten ones, sometimes they have printed ones where it's documented nicely, but it's a whole other thing to have a screen printed label like the TNO has. We also had some CDs. These were actually quite difficult to get the data off of. The foil of the CD is degraded. It's been some time since they were written. However, there's software like DD Rescue which can help us be able to recover the data. He also had zip disks. He provided us with one of these zip disks with parallel port. We couldn't find any computer with that port on it, so we asked around our university and we were able to find a USB version of the zip disk. So that was actually quite easy to use. For all three of these data types, I wrote a Python Jupyter notebook to be able to copy the contents off of the disk, make a tree of the contents of the disk, and then also log any errors of copying off of the disk. As well, we also take a photo of the disks, and there's an automatic process to copy the photo from the photos of the camera folder on the computer to the folder with the rest of the data. And these IPython notebooks are available on GitHub, so you can go and adapt these for yourself. They're not the best well-written, but they are there. There's also a bunch of other materials in there. There's books, there's notebooks, there's a bunch of printed materials. There's also these aerial photographs. I like this image because this is just some old school censoring on this image with that piece of paper overlaid over part of what's in this image. One of the biggest things that we were trying to recover data from was the tape drives. So we asked around, we couldn't find one within our university. We reached out to the Home Computer Museum in Helmond, and they were able to source a SureStore DAT8 from HP, and this is for the DDS1 and 2 generations. It's a SCSI drive, so we had to be able to find a computer with a SCSI. That was from the first slide. On this one, we found a scanner that was about to be recycled, and we were able to get a SCSI cable and a SCSI terminator off of that scanner. When we were able to get it plugged in, we first used Ubuntu, and the magnetic tape library is in Ubuntu because LTO tapes are still a thing, so that's just there. And when we read off the first sector of the tape, this is kind of what it looked like. However, we saw that we need to use Windows. So we loaded up Windows XP because that's the last generation that the Windows NT backup utility will work on. So we got the Windows XP set up with a SATA drive. So we had to find a special XP ISO to accept SATA drives and other new technologies. And while XP is XP, we did run into some other issues trying to read the data off the disks, and I used the old pencil in the tape drive technique to try and get this tape to work, and it broke. However, luckily it was only a cleaning cartridge. Then you also get other messages, such as being accused of loading viruses and trying to install malware. I was quite surprised about that. I had no idea what was going on. It turns out that it was 15 to 20-year-old Windows macros. All of this data is going to be published on the Utrecht University Yoda instance. What we can document and what we can make available, we do have to review all of it, but it will be in the future made available through Yoda with the DOI, and this data can be reused in the future. And, these projects are nice, but you never know when you're also going to come across even more boxes of CDs, tape drives, floppy disks. We just found these last week, and so we are going to have a new project on our hands. Thank you for watching.